Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to this week's episode of Entertainment Banter. My name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
Today we are going to, this evening, this night, this day, this glorious
Time.
afternoon, we are
Yeah.
going to talk about disaster movies.
Disaster movies, meaning like from beginning to end, the production was so bad it was a disaster.
I mean, that could be actually a good pod. Maybe I should write that down. I mean, let's be honest. That's what disaster movies are, though.
They really are, aren't they?
No, we're gonna talk disaster movies like examples. We'll go in pairs because for some reason they like to come out in pairs. You got Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Yeah.
You got Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Okay.
You got 2012.
Who had that? Who was their competition?
I don't know. Did The Day After Tomorrow? Did that come?
Possibly. Yeah, Hollywood likes to copy. When they've jumped the bandwagon, it's it's full ride
Right.
like superheroes right now.
And then you got San Andreas, but you didn't have a copy on that one, which is great. But there was another earthquake movie, wasn't there?
There's been a lot. What about the core? Wasn't core something like that? You dig into the
Core?
Earth's core.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it.
I don't know. But then you also have the newest one that came out, but got delayed so much, and it came out the end of 2020, which is kind of funny, which is Greenland with Gerard Butler.
Oh, yeah. So would you consider things like Kong vs. Godzilla, Independence Day, Cloverfield, would you consider those disaster films?
I guess you can call those disaster films with a story.
Okay. But there's an element like creatures or something.
Yeah, there's something
usually.
they're inspiring to make them into something, and like it's not as I want to say
Or you
not
just
as
wanna
believable,
stick to
but like
natural disasters like Twister or something.
oh,
like
Twister
that.
would be one too, and not a huge one, but it would be a sort of one. But it's like more of like a
Sharknado?
realistic. Sharknado is nowhere near my radar of being entertainment in any kind of way. I would rather.
check it.
I watched it, and I'd rather have.
I
Sniffed
actually
glue.
haven't seen it.
I'd rather have sniffed glued for an hour and a half. I'm not joking.
How many Sharknadoes? It's a franchise that's been successful.
It has like 3 or 4, yeah. But I
That's so
honestly
funny.
just want to nail my balls to the wall and sniff glue.
What about Jaws movies or the shark ones?
No,
Would you
because like
consider-
you're looking at those like it's. I think disaster movies are based off of human nature.
Like
I
Meg,
would almost
Geostorm
would be another disaster movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
that was like
yeah.
a man-made thing and more sci-fi. Like a disaster movie
Mm-hmm.
is based off of like something that maybe in a small chance happen. You know what I mean? Like so. Like let's go to example, Deep Impact and Armageddon, and even Greenland. We'll throw
Right.
Greenland in there too because they're all asteroid movies. By the way, Greenland was done very well actually for being a disaster movie. It actually had better plot than anything because they didn't follow the government at all. It followed just a family trying to survive this. And 2012 did the same thing, but 2012 was harder to believe. This was a little more believable and more realistic, which was kind of fun to watch. But anyways, let's talk about the asteroid movies real quick. It's more believable because
Okay.
as you watch it, you go, okay, it is believable that a rogue comet or meteorite or meteor, I don't know, it's meteorite or something after it's the atmosphere, whatever. Objects
I
in
can't
space.
remember. Yeah, there's meteors, meteorites. A
Right.
meteorite, I think, is.
And it
what's
all
on the
depends on
ground.
it all depends on
A
when it
meteor
yeah.
is like in the atmosphere. I think I can't remember. And the comet is. I can't remember. There's actually I can't remember.
And a comet is more gaseous.
It's philosophical, like.
And then an asteroid
there's
is more of a
motion,
rock. It just space objects, right?
Yeah,
it's
asteroid,
not.
maybe. Actually, you're right. Asteroid, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, asteroid,
Maybe.
meteor, and then.
But a
meteorite
comet,
or-
a comet has like is more ice than anything. Is that what it is? And that's why you get to see the glow.
Comets do have ice, and I thought they had like a path. They're actually on a path. I thought
We think, or they're getting launched from Bug Planet and Super Troopers, or Star.
they're
Starship
actually
Troopers.
flying saucers, just checking us
Maybe.
out, making sure we're staying stupid, not
Possible.
going beyond the realm of our solar system.
But what I'm saying is, you got these things that are somewhat believable. A space object could potentially even scientists, I watch these movies, you always go like, what does science really say about it? And it's true. There could be an object we miss, and it could appear.
Absolutely.
And what are we like? People are like, oh, we have lasers and all that. Literally, scientists and government has come out and said we have nothing to if something large enough for an extinction-wide event to happen on our planet, we have nothing to stop it. Nothing. They don't know what will happen. They're curious. That's why they're doing more explorations in space. What would happen if we set, like, in Armageddon, they set nukes in it. They hire, for whatever reason, they hire drillers to be astronauts. Apparently that old tale, like, in our business, like, is it easier to teach a rigger to be a cast member or a cast member to be a rigger? We know the real answer to that. So it's just funny, like, can you teach an astronaut to be astronauts who probably have doctorates, who probably are very, very smart? Is it easier to teach them how to drill, or is it easier just to freaking fly drillers who do it all their life into space?
But that's not entertaining.
That's not entertaining. We need to need Bruce Willis as a GM out there, freaking it's Foreman out there doing the drilling, man, and sacrificing his life. But they've been talking about, if they did that, it may not do much. It could potentially break it into multiple pieces that would crash into us, or make it worse, or right now, like, because they think they're getting too close. If they set it on a different trajectory and in the future it'll hit us, it's just there's nothing that can really potentially stop them.
Deflection, like the idea of deflecting it, but you have to hit it way before it
way
even comes near us.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, they've admitted to, like, space is so vast they can't keep track of everything, but they're monitoring quite a few things. And I don't know, there's been a couple of quote unquote close scares in the past 10 years or so.
Right.
Close scares meaning, like, they say it's going to be close. It's still pretty far away.
It's like 500 million miles still away, but close.
No, not even that much. It's like, it's close. It's closer. But like one I thought passed between the moon and us one year. I can't remember.
Oh,
or
shit.
something like that. Or it's coming. I can't remember. But I've noticed there's been a lot more meteor activity the past couple of years, and I always worry, like, there's a lot of crumbs before you get to a big piece of cake. You know what I'm saying?
It's global warming, Matt.
Right, global warming. How could I forget? That's the polar ice caps are drawing
I wanted to remind you.
These asteroids to us.
I just want to remind you. But it would be crazy too. Like, we haven't had a disaster movie do this yet. It should be an asteroid impact, but it should destroy the moon.
That would be awful.
That'd be an interesting. No, the moon.
Well, I don't know. Is that true? I feel like they did do that in the movie. They didn't do that with Armageddon? Like, it didn't destroy parts or hit the moon a little bit, or
maybe, but we didn't play on the game of, like, it's going to hit our moon. What's going to do to our planet? You know what I mean? It just, like, it was just part of the disaster into the climax of the movie, and then, like, all right, the moon's half broken, and we just kept going. You know what I mean?
Well, what about the movie The Time Machine? I don't know if H.G. Wells actually, they actually colonized the moon, and they've been doing so, construction or otherwise. They actually broke it apart, and it destroys, the Earth, because we rely on the moon.
We do have tides and weather.
And it kind of ripped our Earth apart in the process because the moon broke up.
But see, but those movies can become somewhat a little bit believable, which is kind of fun to watch. And then you get the volcano movies, and there's a little stretchier. I mean, Dante's Peak, I can't remember as much. I remember, like, the grandma melting in the lava.
That's in LA, isn't it?
No, that's that's Volcano, which Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, okay.
And that's based off of funny science with the, you always forget that the La Brea Tar Pits are actually in the middle of downtown LA, and it's funny because it's like that is actually where volcanic activity is.
Well, I mean, it's not that funny because we have super volcano, like, right under Yosemite.
Yeah,
and that's actually really scary and real possibility.
So it's funny because they play with the possibilities. Like, LA could a volcano erupt there? A lot of scientists are saying, like, it's absolutely, probably, most likely never going to happen. But there's always that weird chance. You can't predict everything nature does.
Just so you guys know, knock on wood, I mean, like, right now there's volcano activity erupting in the Caribbean.
Right.
Which is, I haven't heard that in forever, I don't know when that ever happened.
Right. I mean, they're waiting for Yosemite to go, so who knows when that's going to happen.
Well, I tell you, if Yosemite goes, that super volcano, if it actually does go,
it's going to
you can say goodbye to America altogether, and it will definitely change the world.
Global warming will never not be a thing because that'll be volcano warming.
That's like a super volcanoes you don't want to mess
with.
Like,
we'd go into another ice age. We'd absolutely go into another ice age. I don't know it would destroy the Earth, but it would do a huge damage to us. Only the strong will survive.
Not in the United States.
I still
maybe
a lot of people in the United States will still die. Just think of all the ash and atmosphere. A lot of people who have asthma issues, they won't make it.
Yeah, no, it'll be crappy. They won't want to be coming to America then.
Coming to America.
What was the disaster movie where people are trying to jump the Mexican border? They're trying to go to Mexico because they were freezing over. America was freezing over.
I think it was The Day After Tomorrow, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah.
I actually like that movie. That movie is actually based off of global warming and how the polar ice caps are switching. But apparently, the scientists are predicting that over time they do it over like 400 years it switches. But in this movie, It did it overnight. So like it was just drastic that everything started happening, it was fun to watch that whole thing. You got to see the special effects. I like seeing disaster movies where you get to see these awesome special effects of like when the disaster actually occurs and it all comes, which I think is interesting.
So has there been any strictly based on like tsunamis or is it just the tsunami is a result of the disaster itself?
I would say so. The Deep Impact was closest, I think, for the tsunami, and I think Day After Tomorrow too, or even 2012. There was a tsunami that did most of the damage. But generally, it started off because of something else. It wasn't just because of tsunami. But tsunamis just don't occur anyway. So, like in San Andreas, San Francisco's flooded. It's just the whole thing's all flooded because of the giant 10.0 earthquake we have and that's always fun to joke.
Let me ask you,
that's always fun to think about too, because we live in California, so it's just like, oh yeah, we know the fault.
Would you consider things like Titanic or Poseidon a form of disaster movie? Would you put that in the same kind of category? Because you're thinking about an event that takes place and people are just
and it's more realistic to think.
Oh, I don't know if you want to call it real. Titanic was pretty realistic.
I like to think. I like to think realism is a big key in
Perfect Storm. It was a mockery story based on fishermen did die, but I'm saying
those could be mini disaster movies in a sense, because what I'm talking, like every movie we've listed so far is a disaster movie that has affected like almost the whole world. But I know the volcano movies didn't, but everything else has affected the whole world in a sense.
Like Pompeii, a real disaster that took
place.
place.
I mean, they could be good little disaster movies too. Was Poseidon real, by the way? Is that based off a true story?
No,
that wasn't. It's based off a book, right?
Story. That probably, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think I've seen either one, the new or the old one.
You could.
I've seen parts of the old one, but not the new one.
I guess you could call them the disaster movie. Pretty much, you get a story. Usually, it's usually a broken family that you're starting out with. That's the plot. I mean, it's usually a broken family.
It's exciting, right?
And then
conflict with conflict.
Right, and then you don't know what's going on, and then there's small like foreshadowing of what's gonna happen and this and that, like in Titanic.
Like, I can't swim. We got to take a swim class.
Right. And then like Poseidon sinks, but and then the disaster happens, and then that's like
I know how to drive
the
boats.
movie.
Just
like,
randomly.
Right. And then it's like usually like a quarter into the movie or halfway through the movie, the disaster actually strikes, and then the rest of the movie is about surviving the disaster and human emotion and doing crazy shit to survive just to get to the end. So,
All right,
so I guess Poseidon falls under that. I mean, so does Titanic. But then, like, you also sometimes disaster movies. There's always that, like, you have the beginning of the broken family, then you have the disaster, and then you have surviving the disaster, and then near the end, usually you have the coming of like becoming the hero. Like somehow, like some kind of moment in that movie is going to decide how you're going to survive the rest of your time here.
Or like and it's always like the younger generation, right? That has to live on for the older generation. They got to. They're left to pick up the pieces.
There is that bullshit. Like in Poseidon, the father went to stop the propeller so they can escape, and then in like Titanic, DiCaprio's character dies, Jack, whatever, because he wants Rose to live, and then you also have. But in San Andreas, no one really died. They played the game like she was going to die, but then she didn't, but it was the daughter. But then in Deep Impact, the daughter and the father died on the beach, which was a really amazing, cool scene. And then Morgan Freeman, old man as he is, he's been old for years, is the president of the United States, and he, talks it through that, so it's not always about the young surviving, but there is those moments where the older, like, take the kids, run.
Well, what do you think about the metaphor behind it all, though? Because I'm gonna poke on that just a little bit more because like the older generation is ruining the planet for the younger generation. Blah blah blah
Well,
blah blah.
I don't look at it that way. I never looked at it that way. I look at it more of less how I would look at my life. If I had a child at that age, I like to put myself in those situations. Like even when when you see someone swimming in a pool, like we gotta dive under and swim 2 miles to this area and get up our head so we can like get to the safety, right? So I always hold my breath too, see if I can do it. Like if I was in that situation, what would happen, And I don't have the adrenaline, but we eat in that. So then so I think
I'd
about
find
that.
some,
So if I had kids,
and get like an air pocket and hope I could swim under with the air pocket for a little while.
you're strong if you can pull that underwater, dog.
Just saying, I'd try that first. You know what I mean? Or I'd find a really long hose and like tie it off somewhere and until I ran out of hose, then I'd go the rest of the way or something.
But I mean, like I look at it as like if I had 2 kids or a child and they're old and there's a moment like I can save them and I have to die. It's almost like I've lived my life. I have my kid and it's their turn to, live this world. So I don't look at it as like, oh, like old timers, like we're ruining this world. It's time for the new. And a lot of these new movies too, like you don't have those moments. It's just some random.
So let me ask you this, because we were talking about it before the pod started, but I'm not a huge fan of the disaster films. Maybe because like when it comes to disaster films, even though these are so far fetched, but it's like they're
not, Matt. They're real.
There's a possibility of disasters striking. We've had tsunamis, we've had hurricanes, and people's lives are devastated daily based on weather alone, So maybe for me, I don't really enjoy watching that. I'd rather watch a comedy. But so having said that, what is the appeal to you? Do you like seeing these people suffer? Do you like to see the crazy, wacky deaths and or is it the adrenaline rush of seeing a massive wave coming and knowing you're fucked? I mean, like, what is it about it that you watch it and you're like, what is it more like you put yourself in that situation and you're just like, I'd be fucked. Like, I'd just stand there and watch it hit me, like the wave, or what is it? What would you do? Like, what draws you to it?
It's the realism of it all that it could possibly happen, and I think of myself as a cynic a lot because even though I don't believe in hurting people. I don't believe in anyone should have the right to choose anyone who dies. No one has that right. Life is given to us.
Well, in a disaster situation, it's
through a
chosen
miracle.
for you,
Well,
maybe,
it's through a
right?
miracle
Or through miracles, right? Yeah.
Well,
right.
I mean, but life is like a miracle to me in a sense because it's just like,
Would you say divine intervention kicks in sometimes for these individuals, these characters? Because how many times do you watch, something and something breaks and it's like Steven Spielberg's a perfect example. He'll whatever causes something whatever traps them somehow. You think it's going to screw them, but then ironically it turns around and it's actually what saves them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get you.
So
just like how the iceberg actually came to life and rescued Rose. I remember that part. It was crazy.
Yes,
it was the reason why they were dying, and then the Rose. I should have not smoked weed when I watched Titanic.
The Titanic actually popped back up for a second and pushed her onto an island. Yeah.
Yeah, a deserted island in the middle of the
Spoiler
Atlantic.
alert, Titanic.
Right. Yeah. The Titanic vessel was actually a transformer. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Optimus Prime's great-great-grandfather.
Yes. Optimus Prime's great-great-grandfather. That's why it's called Titanic. It's
Titanic,
he's like a titan.
Optimus Prime it's actually Titanus Primus. That's his name.
His official title.
That's official title. Yeah. And
on Cybertron.
He's just trying to keep an eye on the humans. No, the draw is you feel like you're part of it, and part of me wants something like this to happen. If
you're
the cynic of me,
bastard.
it is.
You
sick.
are a sick bastard.
I like watching it.
I've
watched
sit there
so
on
many
your faults.
I've
and
watched
tornadoes and hurricanes. And
what tornadoes?
I'm not there, but I'm just saying there's been a lot of bad weather in the last couple of years. Global warming, but you know what I'm saying. Regardless, you're sitting on a fault, my friend.
That's very true. But it's just I'm waiting for that one moment where maybe I'm watching these movies and I'm trying to learn, if something happens, I can do it Dwayne The Rock. I can fly helicopters, I can do it.
I'm pretty sure you're just going to shit your pants. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
I don't know, but it's just I'm a cynic because even though watching Japan and you're watching the tidal waves come into it and you're just I watched some of those videos and you're just like, it's crazy because like I've never been to a situation like that, and then you hear about the nuclear.
That's the creepy stuff.
Yeah, that's where it's hard. And then you're like, and then a part of me, I'm not saying that I want it to happen, but a part of me goes, what if it does blow up? What if it just blows up right now? Like, you
Which
know,
part? Like if
the whole
nuclear
bomb
power plant?
Yeah, like the whole bomb.
Yeah.
What if it just goes? Like,
well,
at
that
what does
point,
that
you
do?
don't have to worry about it for much longer. But I mean,
but I mean, you know what I
saying.
mean? Like that's.
But you learn from them, right? Like,
I don't
you
try
see
to
the
be
tide
like,
go out.
It's the
you know
same
to
part
get
of
the
my
fuck away
brain
from the ocean.
It's
right?
the same part of my brain that I'm driving on the freeway and I go, I can just veer into oncoming traffic and let's see what the fuck happens. You know, like.
Oh my God! Why would
But
you say that? I do not endorse anything that Joel is saying right now.
I'm just saying, like, you have that same part of brain. You're sane enough. I think a lot of sane people have these
I've never
thoughts.
thought that, Joel.
You never thought about
that.
like killing
No,
yourself.
I think
during
what asshole like
Fantasmic?
Joel is gonna come veering at me. That's what I think.
But then
That's what I think.
and then you're sane enough to go, no, don't do that. But the crazy people are the ones that actually do shit like that because they don't have that other voice that says, no, you're a fucking moron. Because sometimes when you open a window, like you never open your window in your third story and go, I'm gonna jump out this window.
No, I definitely
No?
do not. I think
okay.
make sure I don't fall out the window.
Maybe that's just
I,
me.
you know what I do? I what I do is I'm like, who made my house? Did they fucking do this pane right? Like if I lean on it too much, is it gonna fucking all fall out? Like that's what I think.
When I look at your house, man, I look at like OSHA rules in 19 when that house was built.
Oh, the house originally? It was
Yeah.
I think it was 1800s, to be honest with you,
Cool.
the first
So
part.
I try to think like OSHA rules in 1800s. None. There's no rules. So what's really keeping your house afloat right now? Like regulations and all that. Just what George did down the street. Hey man, I'm building another house in over here. What do you think? Hey, this is what we did. It's still standing. How long's it been? 3 weeks. That's
the
a
best
good
part
lifeline.
is all the wood's been fossilized by now. It's like
no, I know.
petrified wood.
It's probably rock pretty much.
Yeah, no, we're good here.
You probably have like false teeth in the walls somewhere because someone's
Oh,
building it.
jeez.
Who knows?
I think it's made of dinosaur bones, I think, to be honest with you.
Do you believe in dinosaurs?
Where are you going with this?
I'm just
you mean like the
asking.
bones that are in museums? Yes, I
Just
believe
asking,
dinosaurs were on the earth.
Do you believe dinosaurs exist? I was just curious. God, that's a simple question, dog.
I don't
Some people
understand.
don't. Some people don't. If you're really,
they
really,
need to go to a museum and look at the bones.
yeah, they say the Jews put them there.
Well, the jewel, I can't even.
Look, man, I was just saying. I was just asking if you did. If
God's chosen people, please continue.
maybe you didn't, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to offend you with like dinosaur talk.
No, I mean, if you're talking biblically speaking, I'm pretty sure the Bible has said that the earth has been destroyed numerous times. So there could have been anything on the planet during those times.
Anything.
Anything. Transforming robots that rode dinosaurs.
What?
Actually, COVID is what killed the dinosaurs.
It's,
It was created in a
possible.
human lab.
What?
They were researching humans and
I don't know what you're saying.
right, because it's bats, labs, except it wasn't bats. Dinosaurs were testing on humans.
Do you believe dinosaurs?
Talked? Yes, I do.
I was
believe
just
they
gonna
wore
ask that. Oh
glasses.
my god.
Yeah.
So do you think
they
think
drove
that
cars?
do you believe
Yeah,
that
all that.
Dinosaurs, the Disney TV show live action with the not the bad mama and all that? Do you think that was like a real depiction of what the dinosaurs?
It's straight up fact. It's based off facts. Disney
Of course.
said it was that way. It's on ABC News. We're told it's through ESPN. So yes, it's that. Based on all the media, they tell me that yes, the dinosaurs. That's how they were. They wore flannel shirts. Yeah.
My next question would have been
How is this a disaster movie? Let's continue, but this is good.
I wanted to ask, okay.
Do you have like I know we have one podcaster that listens in. So like, you just have like a list of like try to get me going. I can get going without you pushing any buttons. So
No, I don't have a list. It's pretty easy. I mean, I've known you long enough.
it's
to
not
push buttons
easy.
on
I
you.
mean, I'm just rolling with the punches here. You got any other more questions?
You're
about...
you're half asleep. That's why it's easier to not like. I mean, you're.
I am. I don't really give a shit what you say right now.
By the way, I have to tell everybody this. I have this on record for this date that Matt probably dislocated his shoulder 3 years ago, probably working, and just last night it popped back into place. Apparently it was an audible pop and he felt it, and he's still feeling pain today. And his wife has noticed it this whole time, and then she just goes, "Oh, your back looks normal now." My question is, Matt, does she see the hump the whole time and never say anything to you? And I'm like, "Oh, maybe we should get that checked out." Or she's like, "Oh, he's just getting old, and that's maybe just who he is now."
All right, no. So like, here's the thing. So basically, what happened was, it just I was holding my son. He's getting bigger, and I was just holding him. He fell asleep.
He's 15 years old. I don't know why you're holding him still.
Yeah, he's 15 years old in dog years. I was holding him, and he fell asleep on me the whole night. So like, whatever, that's fine. And next morning I woke up, I rolled over, and I heard this massive pop, and it hurt like a mother. And but then, so yeah, you're right. My wife's like, "Your back looks normal." So I was like, "So I've been walking around looking like Quasimodo for like how many years now? You didn't say anything?" And she's like, "Ah, yeah, I don't know." Because if you're working in entertainment or you do heavy lifting or rigging or whatever else you do throughout the course of your life,
you feel like it's just normal pain.
You beat your body up, you know what I mean? You do road trips and
you
road
also
gigs.
You also teach yourself like what the pain is and go, "I can deal with
what
it."
your tolerance is, right? And you just think you're sore because you're working 12-hour, 18-hour days. You're not supposed to work 18-hour days, but you know
right.
what I mean?
I mean, when you go to a doctor and they go like, "You experiencing any pain?" and you go, "Yeah, the normal amount," and he goes,
"Yeah, the normal amount," right?
And then he looks at you and goes, "The normal amount is none." Oh.
Well, it's like, that's like saying, you go to a teenager goes and say, "Yeah, is your face covered in zits?" Well, yeah, I got zits, I mean, I don't know, like I got one zit, I got 12 zits, whatever. It's like, you just eventually it's going to go away. Sometimes I got a zit, sometimes I don't.
No, they just move. They move to your back and your butt.
You're so jeez. I don't want to, bad images. Anyways, yeah, so it popped, and apparently now I don't look like Quasimodo, and minus the initial pop pain that is slowly receding, I actually feel like I can sit up better. I don't know. So it's kind of funny. But anyways, yeah. That's nothing to do with disaster movies.
No, thinking about disaster movies, coming to the end of this conversation, since we're just getting off topic too easily now because Matt is dying.
No, you changed the subject about dinosaur bones and shit. So.
I just asked you a simple question because you said your house was made of dinosaur bones. I just wanted to know, and you thought it was a loaded question.
All right, continue.
Anyways, do you think majority of people could survive in a disaster movie right now? Like, say we actually have something that has life-altering changes. Well, how do you think would happen? Like,
it's interesting you say that because
I think about I watch Greenland. Right, Greenland's based off of an asteroid, pretty much falling across all of the Earth. Like, it's a huge cluster. They call it
right.
They call it oh shit! They didn't call it Carl. They call it Carl. I think they called it Carl. And it crashes, but it's like 20 or 30 fragments of an asteroid, and then there's like this final big piece that's like 9 miles wide. So it's like extinction-wide event, right?
Right.
And so they play this whole realistic thing of it falling and everything. They have like government picks randomly selected people, the rich, to go into these bunkers that are like private and all that. And so the whole movie is about them trying to get there, and then they realize like the child can't go because once you found out the child was diabetic at the beginning of the movie, you're like, oh, that's gonna be something involved later. That's gonna be a reason why they're making a point that he's diabetic. They didn't write that in just because they wanted to make like, oh, by the way, he's a diabetic kid. For all you diabetics out there, you're being represented now. Don't worry. There's a reason why he's diabetic. So are you
saying because he's diabetic, he doesn't have a chance? They're just gonna kick him out of the bunker?
No, they did. They kicked him out of the plane, so that's part of the storyline. But anyways, while they're there, all these events happen, and I'm thinking like the government's collapsed. Like even on the drive there, the news is saying like in about 24 hours, the U.S. government will have no control over everybody. Like it's over. The government, all governments have collapsed because they pretty much already announced. Scientists have already promoted that in about 48 hours, an extinction-wide event is happening. Like the Earth is doomed. We're doomed. If you don't make it to a bunker or get hunkered down, if the blast doesn't kill you. No food and none the cold and everything's gonna kill you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
all you doomsdayers, you were right. You get to survive because you all have like these giant bunkers underneath.
Hope your bunker's like buried,
right,
deep
enough.
miles into the
I don't think it needs to be miles. As long as it doesn't impact near you, you just got to be pretty deep so you can and enough food to survive at least 8 to 9 months because all the radiation. But with that being said, when they're getting onto trying on the plane, then all this drama happens. The whole fence breaks down and people break in, but then they make it to another area, another military base that hasn't been broken down yet. I feel like as soon as we get notice of
people are assholes,
well, as soon as we know, like that's it, like the world's over in X amount of time, I think chaos would ensue so much quicker than this movie depicted, even though it depicted it very well and very like controlling, like this is what some areas would do. And it was kind of neat to see how that would happen because it's kind of like what we're watching now in our pandemic. We're noticing how different
well, that's what I was
going to
say. Like
respond.
We actually have an ironic situation right now.
You get to witness it a little bit.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
But no one's told us that the world is ending tomorrow. But here, if someone told me the world was ending and you have a chance to survive if you get to the military plane, people are all you're not going to stop them.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. There's no guarantees. It goes back to that whole situation of like what if scenarios. So my thing is, I think a lot of people would just accept their fate. Like
some people would.
I'd be like, you know what I mean?
They showed that. They showed that in the movie, which yeah.
You know what I mean? Because and as for, like look at the COVID-19, right? I mean, there's, in theory, if you just stay inside your house, right? If you stay inside your house, you don't talk to anybody, you'll survive.
Right.
But even with that situation, it's not like an asteroid's going to hit and then you're still going to get burned alive or whatever. But like, like people are being dicks and hoarding hand sanitizer and toilet paper and the early portions of all this, and you know what I mean. And so yes, human nature is stupid. Unfortunately, it's been proven, obviously, and I'm not saying COVID-19 by any means is minuscule, but what I'm saying is if you're in the middle of the woods and you're not talking to anybody, you can pretty much avoid it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You can't avoid an asteroid.
Well, no, if an asteroid hits, so theoretically, right, the asteroid hits, we're in America, right? Let's say the asteroid hits in China somewhere. China's no more. China definitely, Russia, all of Asia has been demolished. The third temple was almost finished, and the Jews all vaporized.
Again.
Anyways, that whole part of that continent's been destroyed because this continent's so big.
Right.
But of course, it's going to affect everywhere. So once that happens, we may feel the shock wave over here, and it may like be hot. But if you had if you're indoors, hunkered down, have enough food, because it's going to spread radiation across the whole world. But if you're
it's
able,
not even that. But I mean, you're talking about the ash fallout and all.
Right.
Shit.
So if you're able to,
you won't even be able to breathe the air.
But if you're able to, if you had if a lot of doomsdayers have bunkers and like rations, if you can survive at least 8 to 9 months, which is a proven, like the initial radiation would die down. Like no guarantee we could survive completely out there, but it would be like enough tolerable we can go out there for a little bit and if we have to.
Again, but you gotta have to filter your air if you even have air to filter, because if all
I sure hope if you have
if
you're a true doomsdayer, you have a bunker that has all that shit. If you don't, you're half in
an underground forest.
You're half in this
if
shit.
If all the vegetation's destroyed, you're not gonna have air.
Well, you have giant filtration systems.
Yeah, but you gotta have something to filtrate.
Yeah, man.
If all the air is destroyed,
look, man, I'm not a scientist.
Just saying. It's gonna be pretty brutal.
So it was, So it'd be pretty bad, and I think a lot of people would just take it. A lot of old people be like, "I'm good." A lot of religious people probably take it at the end of times. You'd see a lot of crazy things happening. I mean, then you have the fighters like, "No, if I'm still alive, I'd probably be that way. If there is still breath in my body and there's a hint of a chance of where we can go to survive, I'm gonna try."
That's fine. I mean, a lot of people would, but
I'm going to die trying or die not trying.
Well, again, but, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Like, you could try and you actually put yourself in harm's way, too,
You could.
That's kind of why, I feel like I would just spend every moment I could with my family, my immediate family, my loved ones.
Of course. I mean, that also goes across. You only have hours or minutes or days left. You might as well just spend it enjoying it, right?
Plus, you terrify the children, you know what I mean? Like trying to rush them to this chaotic situations where everyone's fighting to get on a plane. No, I'm just going to my backyard. We'll play a game of baseball.
Their food, just in case.
Have a nice barbecue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Barbecue them.
No.
Would you? Okay, so the world's ending tomorrow, Matt. It's over.
Okay.
Would you try human?
What? No. God.
No? Okay. Just
No,
asking. Just
no.
asking. Just asking. Last
I
minute.
mean, you could have gone like more. Never mind. Forget it. No, I would not try.
Last minute things. You're dying tomorrow. Is there something you would do that you would never do if you weren't dying tomorrow?
I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't start a new video game because it monopolized most of my time, and there's no guarantee I'd beat it in time.
Oh my gosh, you're so dumb.
I'd read Moby Dick. I just know. It's like, no. I mean, I would just spend it with my fam. That's what I would do. I mean, I'd go to the grocery store and get some like nice seafood and stuff. Make a nice dinner. I'd ask if I still had to pay for it.
Yeah, right. I mean, by that
You know
time,
what I
there's
mean?
probably riots happening. You just go in there and
You know what I
grab
mean?
it.
Yeah, they may not even be there.
Yeah. Maybe
That's it.
over. That's
Wow,
it.
this is
We're dying down here. We're dying
disaster
down here.
movies. Disaster movies, man. This is all right. I know we went on over time. I know this is how we always do things. Like,
Well, no, that was a good time to go. Well, on that note, but now you're gonna pick it back up again.
I know, but it's too depressing. Like,
well, yeah,
what's your
it's
favorite
a disaster
what's your
movie.
favorite?
What's
What's your favorite disaster movie? What's your favorite one?
The whole point of a disaster movie is like it's not even like a happy movie in a sense because like you start the movie out, there's always a broken issue, right? Family divorce, husband, wife, always
but
small
then they
issue,
come together at
and
the
then
end
they come
after
together,
this life-altering situation,
right? So it makes it seem like a happy ending, but it had to go through all this altercations to get to it. So it's not like it's not like you're watching Holes where, Shia LaBeouf's character is like this.
You bring this up,
like
okay.
he's because like it's like his life is like so miserable, and then the end of the movie they find old stocks because he breaks the curse, and all of a sudden they're super rich, like, and then ends with them super rich and happy like a fairy tale. That's not how this movie goes. It starts out with crap and it ends with slightly better crap.
So are you saying humans won't change their behavior and their attitude about the petty things until an asteroid comes and destroy their whole life as they know it?
I think a lot of the messages don't sweat the big stuff and enjoy life while you can.
What about world wars? Because I tell you what, a lot of people thought their shit didn't stink and they were complaining about nitpicky stuff, and then some dickweed decides to start a war.
I don't know where you're going with that.
I'm just saying, a lot of people, it's not a disaster in the sense of like a
Environmental.
disaster,
There you go.
environmental. But one day you're sitting pretty in your house, and the next day some assholes nuked half your country and started a war, and now your life has changed, and your country's life has changed, and you got to do something about it.
I mean, it's true. Yeah. I mean, you got to stand up or fall down. I mean, there is since you brought that up, there's a documentary, like a simple documentary series I watch with history on YouTube. It's called Oversimplified. It's very fun because it's short. It goes right to the point of what the thing is. And when Hitler was bombing Britain, all their bombs and all that shit, and they wasn't bombing military targets. He was literally bombing London and shit like that.
Right.
There's pictures of all the English people in the train stations or in the tunnels,
Right.
Bunkering down from the bombs and everything. But he was like, these people have balls of steel. Look at them. They're all in there. They're getting bombed at this back moment. That guy's smiling. He's reading the newspaper. Balls of steel these people had.
Yeah, they got hit hard a lot in London.
They did. They did.
Yeah. So final thoughts. What is your favorite disaster movie?
I really enjoyed The Day After Tomorrow. I enjoy a lot of them. I've been trying to watch The Day After Tomorrow, but I wasn't willing to pay for it, so I was trying to look in my collection if I can find it. I find that it's a lot of fun and interesting to watch because of the science aspect of it, because it's a potential. It's more of a potential than the San Andreas fault. It's more potential than a volcano erupting in L.A. I mean, the earthquake is potential, and so is asteroids crashing into us. But with climate changes and all that, it's another potential. Not extreme as it did, but it's just interesting to wonder if that would happen. And it's more when you watch the movie, you see the disaster, you see the science. No one ever believes the scientist, Matt. No one ever believes the scientist in any of these movies. And it's just funny because watching our own pandemic, no one believed the scientists. So it's just like, God, it's real life. No one believes the scientists. Oh, is your whole life about science? Cool. We're not going to believe you. We're going to go with our feelings. So it's just funny to see that.
I think it's more than that. Why'd you do this? Don't make it an hour-long pod. I'll give you a perfect example, like aliens, right?
Right.
Okay. Whalen Institution, they're scientists, right? But it's not that they don't believe the scientists. They don't believe the motivations behind it. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like, because someone's
it's
making
hard.
money off of this.
It's hard.
Everyone's making money off of this.
It's hard.
You know
it's hard when like you see these movies and like it's a scientist that he doesn't make money. He's not in it for the money. So it's hard to believe him when he's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's doing it like out of the kindness. You hear he's doing out of like the goodness of his will, and you're like, no, that's not real. There's no way that's real. But so you always have that issue, and then the disaster hits, and then like, oh no, and then you follow these group of people that have to survive through the disaster, and then there's always another conflict near the end, a small one, and then there's like victory.
See, I think the reason that it's different is because, like, if you're watching a disaster movie, like, I don't know, Twister, right? I don't know, call it a disaster movie, right? If the scientist says, oh, this is a phenomenon, this happens when the vortex starts doing this, blah, 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 and they start talking about the Twister itself, and it, the clouds, the barometric pressures, right? Blah, 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 say whatever you want, right?
Right.
But then the scientist says, but I've got this tornado suit that you can buy, and I can give it to you and distribute it to you at a good price, and as my company that I created, I can actually make this tornado suit. You just pull this drawstring and
then it becomes bullshit.
Turn into this massive bubble, and you can fly around in the tornado, and you'll be perfectly safe. But only if you use my tornado suit.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. This right here stops tornadoes from being in California.
Amazing. You should hold on to that. That's why there's no tornadoes in California.
Thank you for pointing that out. If you notice, I have this right here. There's no tornadoes in California. This one here keeps bears away from my house.
That's very good.
I haven't seen a bear.
I've not seen a single bear at your house ever.
No,
I know.
Fantastic.
It's amazing. It works really well.
It's work.
So my favorite disaster film is Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and
no, that was a disaster for other reasons.
Yeah, and on that note, thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
Couldn't leave it alone. And my name is Joel. And I'm done.